Hello, and welcome to another Yip Yap session. This one is a bit different. We're doing the Yip Yaps in a voiceover because it's getting very cold, and I am indeed a complete bitch when it comes to the cold. So this is just what we got right now. This is what we got. I'm going to try my best to be as yappy as I can. This is going to be very tutorial-like, very beginner-like. I made this painting many years ago with a tutorial many years ago, and it hit. It's a good confidence booster. So we have 4 planet stencils, 1 in the center, 3 in all corners. You're going to need black, white, and clear spray paint for this. And it's a 22 by 28 inch glossy poster board. And also in the 4th corner, we're doing a no stencil planet, which is actually a lot easier than people probably think. But that's about it. Anyway, line up your planets wherever the fuck you want. It does not matter. And then I just like to outline them with some black just to know where we should be putting paint. And we also just decided to put some black right in the center because that's going to be an eclipse. It's also going to be our light source. Now, when it comes to that corner planet, the best way that I know how to describe it is windshield wipers. It's just basically like rotating your elbow or like your arm at your elbow, if that makes sense. But just kind of get used to the motion of that so you can repeat it a few times without it being too different than the last. Now, for these planets, for the top 2, I decided we're going to use the classic technique for up top. So we did just a white layer and black right on top. Now, the bottom left planet, we basically have black on the side that's going to be shaded and white on the side that's going to be highlighted, right? Which the side of the planet that's going to be highlighted is just what's closer to our light source. It's the side that's closer to the eclipse, right? And we're just using the secret sauce, right? The clear coat. I use Rust-Oleum 2x clear coat. You can get it from Home Depot, Walmart, Amazon. There's probably a link in the description below, actually, right? Just make sure you re-wet that paint and just swipe your fingers back and forth. Just swipe your fingers back and forth, and it'll give you. You can see I wasn't too happy with what I got, so I added a little bit more black. You can see I'm just swiping my hand, right? And just mushing and squishing all of the white and black together. Now, for some reason, I'm still doing it. But we're also going to hit the top right with some clear coat, just to make sure that the paint is wet again. And we're going to grab some magazine. Well, at least I grabbed some magazine. It's just what I got. You can also use newspaper or plastic bags. And you see I gave it a quick little wrinkle. You just place it and lift it. Easy. Easy. The classic technique. Everybody fucking does it. You've probably seen it a billion times if you've seen any videos like this. And same thing with the top left. But you can actually go with a certain pattern as well. So what I did is I put my finger right in the middle of that page. And I basically just crunched the page around my finger, if that makes sense. And it's going to give us like kind of this starburst effect, which I really like. I think it's pretty cool. And it's actually really cool for galaxies, but I decided to put it on a planet, and it's the same exact thing. Same exact thing, we just place it, swipe it, and lift it. That's it. Alright, so now we got the shading and the highlighting. This is not difficult, this is not scary, just bear with me. You're going to need some white, and you're going to need to learn how to find your distance. That's it. So just pull your can back until you get the distance that will give you a nice, like, faded, misty effect. You don't want this really solid line, okay? Don't kiss your canvas. So you're going to pull it back, and you're either going to give just a little boop of white on your highlighted side, or a smiley face of white, right? And the highlighted side of your planet's going to be the side that's closer to our light source, which is going to be the center. It's going to be the eclipse in the center. Same thing with the black. Just find your distance, make some smiley faces. The only difference is for the shading, you can work your way into the planet as much as you want. Just depends on how much shading you want. So that's about it. Now at this point, if you want the best results, you should probably let your paint dry. But I don't do that. I don't have any patience. So I'm just placing those on. Now, the thing is, if you don't wait for your paint to dry, it increases your chance of getting the Ring of Doom and Despair. However, I think I show at the end of the video how to cover that up just a little bit. So do whatever the hell you want. It don't matter. Now at this point, since it's just a black and white painting, we're just going to hit everything with black. Now you'll see there's 2 things I actually want to cover here. The first thing is, one of the first things that you see I do is I go around my planets first, because you want as clean and crisp as possible lines around your planet, right? You don't want your planets to be blobby or have like a blank space around it. So I just make sure that I hit around that first, and also don't use too much paint. Right, this is a very beginner type mistake where you just put this big puddle of paint around your planet. So when you lift up that stencil, it just kind of floods in and pours in, and it makes it all blobby. Once again, we don't want blobby, we want nice, clean, crisp lines. You'll also notice that bottom right corner where we're going to have that other planet, I'm leaving that alone, right? It's okay if you get some paint in there, but just leave it alone for the most part. That's it. Now at this point, I think I was all over the place. I think I kind of started the planet here, which once again, windshield wipers, just kind of arch your arm back and forth so you can kind of repeat that same motion. And you can see I'm just kind of filling it in with white. I went with the like outer perimeter with white, and then I put some white just like down the center of the planet there. And then I got distracted, I guess. I have no fucking idea, but I was like, well, since I got the white, once again, we're going to find our distance, right? I want this nice, like, faded, misty sort of thing. This is the difficulty with black and white, is this is all we got to work with, right? So starting from around that eclipse, because we need something bright around that eclipse to be able to see it, right? I'm just spraying some white, and I'm just kind of spreading that fucking light all around the painting, right? And as I get further and further away from the eclipse, I'm pretty sure I'm lifting my arm further and further away from my poster board, right? To just get a mistier and more faded sort of effect. Now at this point, I think I'm doing stars. I can't really tell. I'm kind of blind and I don't have my glasses on. Okay, that is what I'm doing. So just a little bit of white on the finger, right? And you're gonna flick to the side first a few times just to get those big nasty blobs off. And then you're gonna flick onto your painting. That's it. There are other ways to do this, but this is, in my opinion, the way that gives you the most control. This is just the way that I do it. Now, if you do get any blobby stars, which I think I did there, just cover it up with some black. It's not a big deal. Just cover it up with some black. We'll go ahead and we'll hit that area later. Oh, and it also looks like I completely missed that because I just get distracted so easily. But I put some black back down there in the planet. And with some secret sauce, re-wetting that paint, just swiping back and forth in the windshield wiper motion. That's it. All right, this is where stuff gets pretty crazy, and this is actually probably the most difficult part of this painting, but I do believe in you. With a little bit of practice, this is super beneficial for all spray paint art across the board. What we're gonna need is some trash, which is just poster board. So we have a flat side to this poster board, and we're pointing that down. And you can see I kind of demonstrated there. We're spraying white onto the trash. We're not spraying it onto the painting, spraying it on the trash. So I'm taking that trash and I'm bending it, just using my fingers to kind of curve it so it aligns with the curvature of the planet. And I'm hovering. I don't place it on the painting just in case the paint is still wet. So I'm hovering maybe like a centimeter above it. I'm spraying white on the trash. And then we get that nice kind of glowy horizon that I personally really like. Right? And I think I also might have put just a tad bit of black in the far corner of the poster just for some extra shading. Now, I think at this point, I was just going back with some white behind that planet. I think we covered that up with some black earlier for some blobby stars. But at this point, yep, we could just go ahead and lift everything up. Most of these planets do look pretty good, but there's some work. There's some work, and we are going to work on them. Right, now here we go, just back at it again with the trash. Same exact thing that we did for that no stencil planet, but we're just going to reapply the highlight of these other three planets, because there does seem to be just a little bit of a gap. It looks like between like the white mist and the actual planet perimeter. So I'm just taking that trash, curving it with the curvature of the planet, and spraying some white on the trash. And it's giving it, one, it's also giving it a nice glow that I really like, kind of like an atmosphere or something to your planets. But it's going to cover up any of the ring of doom and despair that you might have gotten from your stencil, but also just helping kind of clear up that gap. And we'll just jump ahead because this shit becomes really repetitive, really quick, and really old and really boring. But for this next part, it's same exact idea once again, except we're gonna hold, you can either hold the trash as straight as you can, or you can go ahead, if this is gonna become a recurring hobby for you, I recommend you pick up like a 5 or 6 inch putty knife, which is what I'm gonna use here. Same exact idea, right? We're just gonna hover over the painting, spray some white onto the tool, and it's gonna give you a nice crispy line, right? So I just put a line kind of next and also going through the eclipse there, and then just make a second line intersecting the first one. Just make an X or a plus or however you want to look at it. Now at this point, I will admit I fucked up. I didn't show nearly as much as I should have for this part. But we are going to make some comments, and I think I'm going to make a short reel, whatever the fuck they're called on here, the TikTok motherfucking things. Okay, I'm going to make one of those explaining this more in detail and showing you exactly how to do this. But I will try to explain it now. You're going to need some poster board with a flat side on the bottom once again. But this time we're going to fold it. Now I don't crease it completely, but I do give it like a really tight bend, so it almost looks like a teardrop opening at the bottom. And we're basically just going to treat this like a funnel. Now at this point the paint is pretty dry, so you could just kind of place the tool on the painting just to kind of steady yourself. But the whole idea is you're going to treat it like a funnel and just shoot some white paint right into the funnel, and it'll give you some comet shapes. And that is about it. That's just about the end of the video. I'm just going ahead and putting like a triple thick crystal clear coat as a finish, just right over top of it. And then you're going to sign your name at the bottom. And that's it. Like I said, this is a huge confidence booster, and this would probably be a lot of fun to do in color as well. But I like the idea of practicing more with black and white for especially people who are maybe newer to this, because it teaches you control. And that is like the number one thing. The techniques are easy to learn, but the actual quality of results is always going to differ depending on how good your control is. That sounded like a whole lot of blabbering, and I hope all of those words align themselves to make any sort of sense. But you get what I'm saying, okay? Control is like the number one thing that's going to give you better results. So this is a great way to go ahead and improve on that. And if you like this video, you should consider giving it a thumbs up, because I am not here to toot my own horn, but I put in a lot of extra work here, okay? I put in a lot of extra work, and I think I deserve your thumbs up. If you have any questions, don't bother. I don't check comments, but we do have a Discord for people of all skill levels, and that will be linked in the description to where you can go and show off your stuff and look for feedback and ask any questions, no matter how stupid that you think they may be, because I guarantee you most other people probably have the same question. So that is the place to go. And that is about all I got.